Hello, Periscopers! Trying to figure out how to share really quickly on Twitter, so hopefully you can catch me if you're there. I can still see you joining. Hi, Devno! I missed a couple people joining us. Thank you for joining. I missed you all on Friday. Hello, Felicia! I went on a family vacation and I had this crazy idea that my child would nap and I could Periscope, but that didn't happen. Hi, Crystal O'Shawn. Hello, P. Christine G. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. I'm back. I missed you all on Friday. I had these ideas that I would join, but I was on a family vacation and my daughter did not take a nap, so we were just hanging out and I was like, oh, I'll get on after she goes to sleep. But she wore me out, so I went to sleep when she went to sleep. Hello, Pure Algerian. Thank you for joining us. So I'm glad to see you all here. If you pre-ordered Bipolar Faith, it may be at your door. A couple people have told me that they have received it. Posted some pictures on social media. So if you pre-ordered it and you have it, please throw a picture up and use the hashtag Bipolar Faith. Thank you for joining us. Let's see, Demir Kartal. Thank you. Thank you for joining Aristoid 39. So that made me feel so happy if I could see people with the book. But I will go ahead and get started since it's a little bit later where I am than usual. I am in Chicago today, and I am, I'll talk about that in just a second. So if you're just joining us for the first time or you're returning, my name is Monica A. Coleman. I am a professor of religion based in Los Angeles, California, and I am the author of the practically out book, Bipolar Faith, A Black Woman's Journey with Depression and Faith. And I come on to Periscope every weekday, that's the idea, around 4:30 Pacific time, to answer the questions that I get asked the most. And those questions are, what are my spiritual practices? And what do I do to live faithfully with a depressive condition? So if you saw the title is Safety First. And I'm in Chicago. Thank you for the hearts. I love the hearts. Makes me feel the love from afar. I'm in Chicago today. I was speaking at the National Conference of Volunteers of America, an amazing organization that I am just beginning to learn more and more about. I suggest you check them out. They do this just great work of ministry and helping people to rebuild lives. Deeply passionate, entrenched individuals who work with some of the disenfranchised and people who just most need your help. Most need our help. And organization just of committed leaders who are here learning how to become better and better at what they do. And I was honored today to talk about the intersection of faith and depression, which is kind of what I do, one of the things that I do. And I got here really late. I had a flight out Sunday evening and we had some mechanical problems. So we went out to the tarmac. They said there's some problems. We went back to the gate. They fixed the problems. We went back on the tarmac and they said, nope, the problems are not fixed. They went back to the gate and said, we're going to have everyone get off the plane and get you on a new plane that we know is working well. But that plane's not here yet, so you have to wait a couple hours for that plane to arrive. And so my flight left about 5 hours after it was supposed to leave. It was scheduled to leave, which is pretty late for a late flight. And I was okay with that. And what I really thought about during that time was how I always tell my daughter, safety first. I always say, buckle up because, safety first. And she likes Dora and Diego. She's about that age. And whenever they do something for safety on that show, it says, so we can be safe. And so now my daughter tells everybody to be safe. My mother, me, make sure you buckle up, Mommy, so we can be safe. And I thought about how important our safety is, right? How important it is to be safe. And in some ways, that's fairly direct when you think about depressive conditions, right? One of the most challenging and suicidal periods of my own life and health. I had a friend come in and take, kind of dangerous implements out of my home to make sure I stayed safe. And I write about that in Bipolar Faith. Shameless plug, shameless plug. But really, I do write about that there and what that time was like. because he was worried about my safety. And there are times when it's like that, where it's like, okay, make sure I can be physically safe. And I think that's something I think about probably on a less dire way, on a pretty regular basis in terms of what do I need to do to be well. Um, but, and what are those things that are important for my safety? When you have a little kid, you think about safety and seatbelts and crossing the streets and cars and things like that all the time. And safety first, right? Make sure we have safety locks on doors for toddlers and drawers, and you put things in places where no one can get accidentally hurt. And I always say safety first, safety first. And so I wanted to kind of talk about what it's like when you say that to yourself. Like, my safety is first. And it's not just my physical safety, but my emotional safety has to come first. And my spiritual safety has to come first. And I think when we do that, we start making different kinds of decisions and putting different things in our life. Asking, like, is this relationship emotionally safe? I love the language people use where they say, is there a soft place to land in your life, right? Is it with your partner, your family, with your friends? But where is that soft place to land, right? Is this something that's good for my emotional safety? Do I feel okay? Do I feel fine being vulnerable, fine being myself, who I know myself to be? Do I think that if I have a difficult time, a depressed state, a challenging time, if I get sick, that this person or these people or this community can hold me and care for me? And that if the answer to that isn't yes, then it might not be an emotionally safe situation or relationship or place or community. And I think the same is true for spiritual safety, right? Is this safe for me spiritually? One of the blessings I had was to work at a church in Nashville. I also write about this in the book, but to work at a church in Nashville where the greatest gift they gave me, and to everyone else who went to that church, not just to me, was that you could walk into that church and lose your mind and still walk out with your dignity intact, right? You could have challenges, you could cry, you could scream, you could run, you could just not be okay. And no one thought less of you, no one talked about you, no one gossiped about you. It was really okay. And that to me was one of the greatest places of spiritual safety I ever had. It wasn't that I had to be perfect or I had to have it all together or I have the right answers. Nothing was ever said that would have been hurtful or offensive to people I loved, regardless of race or gender or sexual identity. It was, in my opinion, just one of the spiritually safest places I've ever been. And once you have it, it's hard to go back. I crave it everywhere I go. I'm like, is this a place that's not going to be offensive or hurtful for myself when I feel vulnerable, or for people I love if I want them to visit me, and for the things that I care the most about? And so I think that's first. That has to be first. Do I feel safe with this community leader? Do I feel safe with the people who are here? Perfect? Maybe not. Are they never going to say things that challenge me and push me to grow? Well, I hope not, because I want to grow. I want to be challenged. But are they going to hurt me, right? Are they going to say things that are terrifying to me, that make me feel judged and like less of a person and less loved and less worthy than I did before? And if the answer to that is yes, then it's not safe. And I think it is critical, really, for everyone, but especially those of us who live with depressive conditions, who know that there are going to be times when we feel vulnerable, times when we can't be as strong as we want to be, times when we won't even recognize ourselves, times when you're just trying to get by, to feel like there are places of safety, of physical safety, of spiritual safety, of emotional safety. And that should be one of the first things we ask about our voluntary associations, right? And even our somewhat involuntary associations, those should be the first questions we ask, our first priorities. Like, don't turn the car on until your seatbelt's on, right? Don't invest, don't go, don't act like you have to be somewhere, right? Until the seatbelt's on, until you know that you're safe first. So that's what I wanted to share today. And I think this is almost a precursor, right, to a spiritual practice. It's just one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves and for our well-being. And I don't think God would want anything different. I think that's what God wants of us, places where we are affirmed in who we are in God, that we are made in God's image, that God loves us, that there's nothing we have to say or do or believe to be made worthy to come to the table, to be a part of the fellowship. And that to me is what spiritual and emotional safety is. So that's what I wanted to chat with you about today. Thank you for joining. I'll be back tomorrow. Same time, give or take a minute or two at 4:30. And you can also find this on YouTube. Again, my name is Monica A. Coleman. I am a professor of religion based in Los Angeles, California, and the author of the It Should Be in Your Mailbox Now If You Pre-Ordered book, Bipolar Faith, A Black Woman's Journey with Depression and Faith. If you are anywhere near Los Angeles or Orange County, the book launch is Sunday, this Sunday, at Christ Our Redeemer, AME Church in Irvine, California. And the next weekend on July 10th, I will be in Oakland, California at Allen Temple Baptist Church. So you can find more information on my website, monicaacoleman.com. You can share this, tweet it, Facebook it, use the hashtag Bipolar Faith if you found it helpful. And order that book. Go to your local bookstore. Meet me at a book signing. Just meet me wherever I'm going to be and you can buy a book. I promise you I will not be somewhere without books. And Amazon it, Barnes & Noble it, go to your local independent bookseller. And I hope to communicate more with some of you all soon. Take care. Be blessed.